Hello. Welcome to another Wednesday meditation. I'm like just I am myself. I'm just arriving here to a certain extent. Let me see if I can make this glare less. Off my glasses. There we go. So hello. This is your Wednesday meditation. My name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. You may know me from the Do Nothing Project as the moderator and sometimes guest host. I am certified through the Unified Mindfulness, or certified in the Unified Mindfulness System. Oh, Strootman, welcome. So big hello to Bill and Ruthless Crab. Bonjour, Paul. And hello to Catherine. And Mao, welcome. So cool that you're joining live, Mao. Thank you. Yeah. So if you're new to this, or you're tuning in, hello, Colette. If you're tuning in through space and time to the recording, what we'll do is we'll do a 25-minute sit. The sits are usually, Lynn. Welcome to Lynn from the future, who's in Australia. The sits are usually 25 minutes. What we usually are doing is we're doing something around a technique and then contrasting that technique with no technique. So the Do Nothing Project is usually around really light guidance or just this notion of sitting and knowing that you're sitting. And so today, what I'm playing around with, or I'm looking at as a theme, is kind of being able to either use the body as an antenna or use the body as an aperture. What the heck does that mean? So the holidays for me, I may not want to like really be present and with what's going on in my body, and if I can kind of be a aperture looking out into the world, and I can notice things out in the world. I can apply mindfulness. I can apply the 3 skills: concentration, clarity, and equanimity to what's going on around me. If I am curious, or I feel like I can kind of take a peek inside what's going on, that's this notion of then I can use my awareness, and then the body becomes like a radar dish and for an antenna, and allows us to really kind of get an idea of what's going on. So so that's kind of maybe land as a concept, but the idea being guidance around either using in the terminology from the idea of what's going on in the body. So physical sensations, feel, would be a feel category. Also emotional sensations, like in the Star Wars parlance, I have a bad feeling about this. That's really talking about an emotional sensation, a pit in the stomach or an unease or something not going on, or you have this sense, but you can't quite place where it is in the body that about something. We can think of that as an emotional body sensation. In some of the scientific studies around mindfulness, when they're talking about people feeling an emotional sensation, usually it's around the torso. Present observed sensations are kind of along the skin. Yeah, to what Streetman posted, that would be proprioception, and I have no idea how to pronounce or how to spell that. But so you may have that spelled right. But yeah, so generalized proprioception would be like the ability for us to have clarity of what's going on. The finishing dinner sensation. Yes, Esquin. That would also, well, we can think about the finishing dinner sensation as there's the physical body sensation of being full. And then there's also kind of through ghrelin and other things, the sense of being satiated, like almost as a I've had enough kind of a thing. And that might be an emotional body sensation, I would say. But yeah, so the why now? I think that if you get out, and so I live in Tucson, so let's say you're going out and you're looking at Christmas lights or something along those lines. Your day may not have gone well, or whatever's going on right now may not be going well, but the ability to use mindfulness to focus on what's going on around you becomes a real benefit of being able to sort of anchor out or anchor away. And then if you're in the position where you can feel like you can actually kind of be like, huh, I wonder why that is, or that person seems to always bother me, maybe is the beginning of kind of one of those prompts, a little bit through meditation of observing if that a physical sensation, emotional body sensation, we get a little more clarity around those kind of things. So anyway, hopefully, and if none of that lands, you can always report and ask questions on the flip side of this. So, and then I will ring a bell to start, so you don't have to worry about tracking that sort of stuff. I've got 25 minutes on my talk timer that I used to use when I gave tech talks. So here we go. And so for each of you, you may have kind of a different, I guess, maybe priming to how we're starting this sit together. So I sort of just got done with work. I managed to just get something finished that I'm kind of pleased about, but sort of just sitting down kind of makes me feel a little bit like I'm still in motion, even though I'm stationary. So starting with posture, but we're always kind of, or I'm always kind of beginning with the posture. So you can always meditate walking, standing, lying down. I'm going to focus on the notion that you're probably sitting in a chair or you're sitting on a cushion. And what we're really kind of aiming for is this upright but not uptight sense to the spine and to the torso. So we're not bolt upright and kind of holding ourselves rigid like a statue. Sort of the spine feels supple and natural. But the uprightness brings a bit of alertness. And then just checking in to see, is there any tension that you feel in the body? And we're not trying to sort of shoo away or chase it away with a broom. We're just sort of, is there any stress in the shoulders or tension, soreness, pressure? Maybe in the jaw, the eyes. And we're really just noticing. And if there is tension, we can bring kind of a no big deal attitude to its presence. And that welcoming attitude sometimes causes the tension to release, and sometimes it doesn't. And then capping all of that off with just a few deliberate breaths. And really our aim is like the Beastie Boys, slow and low as the tempo that we're looking for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe in and slow down our breathing. Actually, I got that the other way around. So breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe in slow, and that allows us to breathe low into the belly. And so I'll be, offering these cues or prompts for things to try, and you're always welcome to let me be in the background. And then you can kind of use your own technique if you've got one that you're favoring right now. Or just if you get lost with the guidance, you can always come back to sitting and having this sense that of the body in the seated posture, or sitting and knowing that you're sitting. Just offer this as a waypoint that you can come back to. And so just looking at this kind of as I framed it at the beginning there, sort of are we feeling like moving into either an aperture or kind of an antenna mode? So the aperture is just really my shorthand for saying focusing out. So that would be focusing on sounds around you, maybe the sights, or this sort of antenna posture, this sort of receiving posture. And your environment might be one factor in how you decide. And so just exploring the body for a moment. And again, you're welcome to use another home base. So it's always a sort of invitation to try this out and explore. And just sort of beginning with a sense of focusing on the body. And so the rhythm is this. There's a sound or a visual sensation where you might sort of acknowledge that and then come back to the body. And when we're back in the body with a focus on what's going on, wherever our attention goes in the body, getting a notion around, is that a physical sensation or is that maybe an emotional body sensation? So we can think of the physical sensation as an example of feel out. So feel being the shorthand for the body and out being the physical part. And if it's an emotional sensation, maybe there's a sense of contentment, maybe there's a bit of ease or sort of happiness going on there. Doesn't have to be sort of the flip side. That would be a feel in or a more inner sensation. And again, either option is totally fine. And if you don't feel anything really in the body's just in a super awesome state. We can think of that as a type of rest. So we notice, soak our attention in, and we can optionally use a mental label. So for me, right now, if I were to sort of practice out loud. Feel in, feel in. My attention's wandered. Feel out, feel in. So just to get an idea, a little bit of the rhythm around that. And I'll let you explore on your own and check in a bit. All right, so one more decision point here. So you can stay in sort of feel space, I guess, for lack of a better term. So you can stay with focusing on your emotional or physical body sensations. But if you're interested in exploring a bit, just starting by shifting to the sounds around you. And your eyes can be open or closed, your choice. And so if there are no sounds, we can consider that a rest again, just like with the body. But if there's a sound that your attention is on, again, the same pattern. Short moments many times where we're focused on that sound, soaking our attention in, and then optionally using a mental label. And for that, hear, Hear, is one option. But if you have a sound that is constant, maybe it's the hum of a refrigerator, or the whir of the whirl of a ceiling fan, or the vent, you might play with dropping the label and just sort of allowing it to, allowing the noting to happen without the label. So see if any of those options sort of are appealing to you. Again, we're just starting by shifting away and focusing on sounds. And then again, just a little more experiment here. If you don't have sort of things that would distract you around you, just seeing if you can open your eyes. And the eyes are just open. We're still focused on sounds. All right, the last thing here, we'll bring in kind of everything. One way of thinking about this is we're noting everything.
So if your attention is on something visual, you would note that as see. If there's a body sensation you're focused on, you'd note that as feel. And if there's a sound, hear. And if there's two things at once, you can just pick one. It's not Pokemon, you don't have to catch them all. All right, and then the last thing is we're going to let all of that go. So this is, you can think of it as if we're pedaling a bicycle up a hill, this is the point where we get to coast. So we let go of the techniques and we're just going to sit. And really the attention is going to go to different places. We're going to totally be okay with that. So it's the equivalent of bringing your dog into the dog park and there's no one else there. Wherever the dog wants to go, it's totally fine. But if you catch yourself trying to micromanage where the dog is going, remembering, oh, I'm going to let that be. I'm going to let that go. So just sitting. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your patience. Apologies to those with difficulties. Anything of benefit that comes from our time together go to benefit everybody, all sentient beings. So if you have a question, comment, report, you can always put that in chat. Big thank you to everybody that's already liked the video. Ruth is always great about writing. Great that a number of folks have already done that. For Do Nothing Project news, I think we're back to 8 o'clock. I think if you look at the link for next week, we're back to the voices. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm having pretty bad connections today. So I might be cutting in and cutting out pretty bad. Thank you, though, Jeff and Bill, for letting me know. And then Sybil had mentioned earlier that a lot of connection problems. So that's excellent to hear, Catherine. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing that. So the Do Nothing Project this weekend, I think we're back to 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that would be... Oh, yeah, interesting, Lynn. So in Melbourne, everything has been okay. All right, awesome. Yeah, so, and then I think it's going to be the first time where Jeff's going to be broadcasting from his friend Julie's coffee shop. So that'll be interesting. So tune in, new environment. And then you'll see, if you're not already on the newsletter, I think you'll see that go out on Friday. I think it's either Friday or Saturday morning. So, thank you, Bill. Yeah, I have been noticing the Chargers now that we've been trading co-commiseration about both teams. Yeah, it's interesting. The NFL and being a Vikings fan has taught me a lot about equanimity that I have not necessarily expected. So. Okay, so there's a low, slow tick sound on my side. Now, that might be my clock. I have a clock, and it's a mechanical clock. Okay, so Ruth, I was going to say, so for some people, they really like that, and some people, they don't. So apologies on that. But yeah, and that clock is my mentor's clock. When he left the university, he told me I could have any of the books in his office when he was leaving, and I took his clock and some other books. So thank you to Stuart, if he's out there listening in the but yeah, so that there's a certain level, that clock ticking has a certain level of comfort for me, but not always for others. When I guide at work, it's audible for some folks over Google Meets, but for others it isn't. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, Jason and Marjorie. Wow, awesome. Yeah, so I'm glad that. So yeah, I was gonna say some like the clock, some don't. I use for time slicing. I use an actual tomato timer for the Pomodoro, and the ticking sometimes will actually I can feel, depending on the task that I'm programming, well, sometimes it'll agitate me, and so I have to get away from the clock because it bothers me. But okay, cool. So Mile used it as well. Okay, great. Well, yeah, I was gonna say if it is too much of an annoyance, I should probably move it, but maybe it'll be the calling card of the guided meditations. So let's super great to have both Jonathan and Jason. Did I miss anybody else who's first time? Mao, I think, was first time today, right? So yeah, super appreciate it. I did not know, Jonathan. If you want to get on my reminder list, I didn't send the reminder until today. Apologies, but a reminder did go out. So send me an email. That's the best one, maybe. And then
And then another way to reach me is on Instagram is Leonard's Coaching. Hopefully I spelled my own name right. And so I haven't been as good about posting there, trying to get it set up so that it'll send out my reminder automations automatically. Haven't had luck with that just yet. So yeah, all these social medias things. So, but have an excellent rest of your week. And then again, Sunday is Do Nothing Project. You'll find that at Jeff Warren. Jeff Warren Meditation, I think, is his handle on. I think that's his handle. But yeah, if you search for Jeff Warren Meditation, you'll find Jeff, and that's the Do Nothing Project. And then CEC Meditate is the Monday nights. And email me if you're on Eastern time. Kevin Lacroix, who's also a unified mindfulness coach, does a silent sit every morning, and I can get you info on how to join that. So that's another way of practicing. And if you're Zen curious, email me. And there's a few Zen groups that I sit with. If you want to try out any Zen groups, not that I'm trying to recruit you or evangelizing Zen, but so yeah. Have an excellent rest of your week, and thank you again. And sorry for being choppy and cutting out. We'll see what I can do about that. Yes, Ruth is right. If you want to find Kevin's, I think it's called the Morning Bell, and it's at the bottom of CEC newsletter. And if you go to cecmeditate.com, you can archive of the newsletters and get that link. So there you go. That's your quest, your meditation quest for. Yes, Ruth is right. The power of the edit. So yes, and the thumbs up. There's 16 already. That's amazing. So you're incredibly welcome out. Have a great night, and I will see you soon. Bye.